Your philosophy about life is greatly influenced or determined by your theology or your understanding of God. Your worldview is greatly determined by your understanding of who God is, of the person of God. Who you think God is forms your philosophy of life. Now, I'm saying this because of what a post I saw on Sunday morning as I was getting ready to go to church. I got a notification, so I was checking it on Facebook, and I decided to send some birthday messages. And while I was scrolling through my timeline, I saw this post. It reads, "Sometimes God is glorified when sick saints get well, but more often than not, God is glorified when sick saints die well." I had to pause, and then I read it again. And I know that there are groups of people who have this fatalistic view about God. They think that God is a joy killer. God is not a fun person to be with. And they seem not to have come to terms with the God of the Bible, the one that David described or that David had an encounter with, the God that Jesus came to reveal. So a religious mindset usually paints God out to be a mean fellow who is mean even to those that he says he loves. So for the life of me, I can't understand how people would say God is good, God is love, God is good all the time, God is love, and yet God would punish people or test people with sickness, with death, with disaster, like they say he did to Job. I've been doing a series of sharing a series of insights from the book of Job or teachings from the book of Job to prove that God was not responsible for the trials of Job, but God was only responsible for his deliverance. So I know, because before I became Christian 20 something years ago, that used to bother me a lot, because people would say God is good all the time, and then I hear preachers preach about Job and they say God just used Job as a bait to the devil, or to prove to the devil that Job was an upstanding guy, a righteous guy. I couldn't understand it. Of course, you can explain it away and say, well, the natural man can understand the things of the spirit, or you're not spiritual, so you cannot understand. And well, maybe that was the case then. But when I became awake spiritually, I understood it, because I asked God, what happened to Job? He asked me to read the book. And in reading and studying the book of Job, I realized that God was only responsible for his deliverance. And I can